Hello, and welcome to Team 4's presentation on India.
Hey, for coming to our report on India for the week. So I just wanted to cover some of the country's background. So the Republic of India is located in South Asia, and it borders several countries, including Afghanistan and Nepal. India is the seventh largest country by surface area, but it's actually the second largest by populace. India is a secular federal republic governed in a democratic uh, parliament, parliamentary system. So it's a little bit different than the democracy that we experience here in the United States. So Ram Nath Kovind has been the president there since mid 2017. New Delhi is the capital city, and it sits in about the north central area of the country. Um, so it's a pluralistic, multilingual, and multi-ethnic society. The two official languages are Hindi and English. The main religion is in India is Hinduism, although there are obviously several um, uh, religions in the area. Hinduism is by far the most popular. Okay, so India's population grew from 360 million in 1951 to over 100 or 1,211 in 2011. So in a relatively short period of time, they saw just an absolute burst in population. So during the same time, its normal per capita per household was $64 annually, and 1,498 is what it jumped to. So there's a big jump there in per capita finances, which is obviously still significantly less than it is here in the United States, but relatively speaking, that was a pretty big jump. Um, so its literacy rate, interestingly enough, went from 16% to 74% in the same time. So obviously an increase in education. Um, so it went from being what they call pretty destitute to becoming one of the fastest major economies in the world. And it's a hub for many information technology systems with an expanding middle class. So India has substantially reduced its rate of poverty at the cost of an increasing economy inequality, which is also kind of concerning and interesting in and of itself. India has several fast-growing industries, which are telecommunications, the pharmaceutical industry, as well as the automotive industry, according to World Bank.
Hi there, I'm Ryan, and I will be talking to you today about the business practices found in India. Let's start talking with the ethnic groups. There are three distinct ethnic groups present. There is the Indo-Aryan, we have the Dravidian, and then we have the Mongoloid and the other. The Indo-Aryan is our biggest ethnic group, and they represent 72% of the population. The Dravidian is 25%, and then the collection of Mongoloid and other ethnicities is the remaining 3% found in the region. As far as languages go, there are 22 officially recognized languages in India, although some are used more than others. So the most used and the actual business language and the official language of India is Hindi at 43.6%, although English is used pretty extensively in the business world in India. So many people do actually speak English as well. It is seen as a secondary official language, but Hindi is the official language of India. Bengali is spoken by 8% of the population, Marathi by 6.9% of the population, Tamil by 5.7% of the population, Gujarati at 4.6%, Urdu at 4.2, Kannada at 3.6, Odia at 3.1, Malayalam at 2.9, Punjabi at 2.7, Assamese at 1.3, Mathili at 1.1, and the other I think it's about 10 languages make up 5.6% of the spoken languages in India. So when it comes to school in India, the school life expectancy for children is 12 years. This is 12 years for males and 13 years for females. And this allows us to define literacy, or the percentage of the population that can read and write by age 15, as 74.4%, which is remarkably lower than some of the other countries that we've examined recently. And this is an 82.4% literacy rate for males, with only a 65.8% for females. I did find this pretty striking, considering that the females have on average an extra year of school. So it's really surprising that the males actually have a higher literacy rate than the females do. The average work week in India runs Monday through Saturday, and it starts at 10 a.m. and runs till 6 p.m. However, when working in India, there's a couple things that you have to be aware of to fully be ready to work there. First off is overtime is expected, and on top of that, overtime is often uncompensated, as it's seen as a part of your normal work duties. There are, however, 15 to 20 public holidays in India, for which you will have a paid vacation. And then, other than that, paid vacation or PTO and breaks from your company are based completely on a personal employment contract with that company. So when you're negotiating your contract is when you'll be able to negotiate, how many days off a year that you earn, or the rate at which you accrue PTO, your sick time off, when your lunch will be, when your breaks will be, so on and so forth. This will vary from region to region. India is a large place, and there are distinct differences as you travel around the country and work in various regions. It'll also matter on company to company, as one company may have different policies and procedures in place than another. And just a few fun facts to wrap up the business practices section. We have the Indian rupee is the currency in India, and here is its currency symbol. 1 Indian rupee is equal to 0.013 American dollars. The time zone that they are in is in the India Standard Time Zone. This is taken at New Delhi, and then that puts them 5.5 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. Also, India does not follow daylight savings time.
India's healthcare has over 70% of healthcare being paid out of pocket. 1 rupee will equal an estimated almost $74, which is to fluctuate. The rate of exchange in rupee to coverage is far more expensive than people can afford. Uh, it has it that there's only one specialist to every 1,457 patients in a country that is almost 1.3 billion people. The World Health Organization has them to be at one healthcare uh, doctor for every 1,000. So India's ratio is far less than what is expected, ideally. There are 1.5 doctors practicing to every 1.2 students going to med school. In beds versus patients, in 2019, there was a census study that brought 713,986 beds totaling in all of India. At a slower, much more lower rate, there was 0.55 beds for every 1,000 patients, if that ratio was to be compared. 60-year-old people and older was at an even less ratio that had them at 5.18 beds for every 1,000 patients. In a city named Bihar, the city only had 0.11 beds to every 1,000 people, which shows that there is a clear lack of medical care. Only about 5 to 10% worth of people have steady health care across the country.